It's been a long time coming, but the blue carpet is finally being rolled out in Hamburg for the first and only WTS race of the season this weekend. And that means it will also be a standalone World Championship alongside the Mixed Team Relay World Championship held every year here in Germany. You can catch all the men's action on triathlonlive.tv at 4pm local time on Saturday, with the pre-show starting 30 minutes before and the women going out at 6pm. Sunday's mixed relay starts at 1:30. Earlier this week, I spoke to Flora Duffy down the line from Spain. She looked ahead to the big one. As we continue the build-up to the big return to racing with the WTS Hamburg weekend, I'm delighted to be joined by Bermuda's Flora Duffy. The 2016 and 2017 World Triathlon Champion will now have the opportunity to add a third title to that list in Germany on Saturday, with this year's race also crowning the 2020 World Champions due to the calendar upheaval. So, hello Flora Duffy, and welcome to the podcast.
Hello, hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so the Hamburg countdown is very much on. Are you already touched down in Germany?
Yeah, it's race week. It feels very strange to be saying that after this entire year. It's been very different. But no, I'm not in Germany. I'm in Girona, Spain. I got here Friday evening, so we're Monday now. Yeah, so I've been here a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it was very difficult to get out of South Africa. So I didn't plan to get here this early, but literally it was the only flight I could get. And so yeah, it was a very long travel day, but I got here and I will fly to Germany on Thursday. So Thursday just before the Saturday race. Yeah, so it's very interesting to be out back into the real world. I've been in like this tiny little Stellenbosch bubble for the last few months.
I can imagine, and exciting. So obviously a lot of extra paperwork and tests and things before you could get out of South Africa, was it?
Yep, of course, like COVID test, and then lots and lots of paperwork and just procedures just to get onto the plane. I mean, my flight was at 6 p.m., but I had to be at the airport at 1 p.m., and it was just a very long, tedious, just check in and just to get to the gate and just to get on the plane. And yeah, it just wasn't a normal, smooth travel experience. It was just very long. But yeah, usually to get to South Africa or to Europe from South Africa is actually very easy. But that's definitely all changed now.
You know, being able to pack that bag again for the first time, though, must have been a nice feeling.
Yeah, well, I definitely was like panicking. I didn't really know what to pack. It's been so long, like thinking of all the stuff that I need for the race. Yeah.
You didn't forget anything important then?
I hope not.
So how was your reaction when you found out that this was going to be the World Champs? You know, obviously that it was short notice, but in a kind of unavoidable fashion, but it's added a whole another layer to this race.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I was definitely surprised when I heard, because I mean, of course it was short notice that we were told, but it kind of also like went with the theme of 2020, which has been highly unpredictable and not normal. So I kind of just rolled with it. And I mean, to be honest, the ITU did announce that there would be a one-day World Championships at some point this year. And I mean, if we're just somewhat clued up and following what WTS events there could have been this year, Hamburg was the only one that had a date. The other two, the dates were still pending. And so, you really you couldn't be sure if they were going to happen. So it was looking more and more likely that Hamburg was going to be the event. So I guess when the announcement came, I was, surprised as anyone would be when you hear your race has been upgraded to a World Champs. But then I guess I thought through it, and I guess I could understand how it got upgraded to the World Championships.
And like you said, in keeping with how 2020 has been in some ways, but also in a way in keeping with how your last couple of years have been in terms of what you've been able to race and not being able to defend your world title from 2017 properly and so on. I don't suppose you would have thought this would be the way that you would be gunning for your sort of third title.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But, there's kind of like, it's kind of fun and refreshing in a way. I mean, to get to do a one-day World Championships is really exciting. It's something I actually kind of hope we could always have as well as the series. But just think it adds so much like extra excitement and suspense, and just like racing, to get everything right on one day for the big event is really cool and really challenging. But yeah, I mean, to be racing on a sprint distance on a course I've never done, with all of the COVID sort of guidelines and procedures that are in place, racing for a world title, I mean, that also adds like a whole new level of, different stuff that you have to kind of navigate through on the day and the lead up to the race.
And not really knowing yourself where you're at in a race situation, or everyone you're lining up against, right?
Absolutely. I mean, none of us have raced. Well, some of us maybe have raced this year very, very early on, but a lot, it's coming up to almost a year of no racing, and everyone I think has gone through a different form of lockdown, some more severe than others. Some have had more access to training facilities, swimming pools. So again, yeah, and of course, I mean, some might have taken a bit of a break or just, stepped right back and gone a bit easier with the training. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see who comes out with what form, what motivation, who's in the right headspace to race at that level again, and just be really on from the start. Because I mean, with a sprint race, you really can't make a mistake. There's just like not the time to make up for it. It's just so full on. So yeah, it's it's gonna be quite an introduction to racing again.
And I suppose that there is that different race personalities have, obviously, for some people, building into a season takes a while normally, and some people naturally hit their best form towards the middle or end, just by virtue of needing a few races to get going. So yeah, that idea of people's headspace is going to massively come into it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And again, you don't know what sort of, lockdown they've come out of. I mean, some I can say, in South Africa, ours was pretty severe when you weren't even allowed to leave your house to exercise. You're only allowed to leave for essential services. So, and then you contrast that to other places where had a very mild lockdown where, you could train sort of as normal. And so, yeah, I think it has a different impact on everybody, and yeah, how that will shape where they are on race day. I mean, who really knows?
Yeah. And it's not as if you've, even in the last couple of years, like this year, not, taking that out of the equation, even, you've not raced against the likes of Katie and Jess and Georgia very much because of, your injuries and so on as well. I presume, you can predict that Katie will be incredibly well prepared for the race and immaculately focused, you would think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of them are going to come in, very focused. I mean, those three, they're such, great athletes and so professional that I'm sure during this time period, they've, kept the focus day in and day out. Being consistent is a big part of racing well and being successful. And then, of course, with Katie, she's just so consistent that I have no doubt she will come in with really great form. And of course, she gets to come in as the current world champion. So that also adds like an extra bit of motivation. Even though it's been a strange year of no racing, extra bit of motivation and sort of prestige to be holding that title. So yeah, I definitely expect them to be coming in with some good form. And, yeah, it is interesting because I haven't raced them at my best in a very long time. I guess what's been great for me is that I can come into this race with a lot more confidence than I came into sort of the Tokyo test event and the Lausanne Grand Final last year. Just having had all of these months to build back slowly, gain consistency, and have solid months of actual training, even though some of it was a bit peculiar because it was all like in my garage on a treadmill or indoor trainer. But, the work got done. So, it'd be interesting to see how that all unfolds on race day.
And whether or not you've really missed that kind of elbow to elbow at the first buoy, right?
Gosh, I know that's going to be the real shock. But it's also, you know, you can do all of this training, you can be in really good form, but yeah, is it going to unfold on race day? Do you need a few races to get into it?
Huh.
Yeah, racing is just sort of one of those things that, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, and they have the add into the crazy ITU swim starts, going around the buoys, the mad transitions, getting on your bike, and oh man, just all of those details that you just cannot practice in training. Those are only things you can you know experience or work on while you're racing.
Do you think it will be hard to get your game face together on that start line, or will the clarity come through, do you think?
No, I think once you arrive on race day, I mean, I've raced so much that it comes through. Your body remembers, your mind remembers, and I think the biggest, like, important thing is you're right. There are a lot of new procedures and protocols in place. And I think it's just to try to get as comfortable with them as possible before race day, just so that you know what you're going to expect come race day. So, I mean, for me, a lot of that will just be like through visualization of what the new check in procedure is like, wearing a mask, I don't know, whatever social distancing needs to be done, just so that on race day it actually can sort of seem um, as sort of like normal as possible. So you're not kind of getting like a bit freaked out or frustrated with um, how the pre-race sort of procedure has changed.
Will you be sticking around for the mixed relay? Is that something that you'll be watching the following day, or?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could race it,
Yeah.
but I know there needs to be like a wild card world team.
Well, yeah. Who would
That's
be?
the petition for.
Yeah. Who
Um,
who would you be? Your I mean, Norway are kind of making their big play this
yeah,
time as well, right?
maybe I can join Team Norway just for the day.
I can imagine they'd be
That would
quite
be fun.
pleased.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely watch. I'm going to race the World Cup in the Czech Republic the following weekend. And so I will hang around in Hamburg for a couple of days and then drive over to the Czech Republic. So yeah, I'll get to watch the mixed team relay, which I actually never usually watch because I will typically fly home that day. If I'm not racing. And usually the races are in such quick succession that I'll shoot home and so I get to watch all the drama unfold, which will be quite exciting.
Yeah, shame. Obviously, there'll be some fairly big names missing.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the unfortunate nature, I guess, of 2020. But I mean, I don't know what you can do. It's never really fair, to be perfectly honest, when you go into to race. I've heard a lot of it's unfair that these nations cannot get there, but I mean, I think there's like typically a lot of unfair maybe advantages, bigger federations, more support. I mean, to go into that detail. So I mean, yeah, of course it's a shame, but I kind of also understand the IT's perspective that they've got a race on, which I'm sure was incredibly difficult to pull off, and maybe just want to get the most out of it. So we're hosting a world champ. So yeah, I don't know. I've tried to think of it on both sides, and I suppose for a while there, I didn't think I would be able to leave South Africa to come race in Europe, and I don't know. I suppose I would want my, fellow competitors to be able to race, and if that meant I missed out on a world title, well, I don't know. It's easy to say than it actually is in reality. But no, it's a huge shame that they cannot get there. Of course, we all wish it was different. So don't know. It's just a tough situation, really.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so you're on to Carlo Vivari, you said, after. Is that a course you've done before, a race you've done before?
No, I've never raced there before, but I've heard it's quite a challenging course. So
it's a great course.
That's quite exciting. Yeah. So that it's Olympic distance, very challenging course. So yeah, I really look forward to that. I think that'll suit me a lot more than Hamburg. So it's kind of cool. We get to race both weekends back to back.
So yeah, obviously, I suppose it being a pretty pan-flat kind of course in Hamburg, and perhaps a lack of race practice, that it's gonna Are you picturing, sort of envisaging how that might look down the pointy end of that race?
Yeah, well, I think once I sort of get to Hamburg and get a better visualization of the course, once I get around it and see the venue, I think it'll all start to come to life a bit more. But yeah, as you say, it is a flat course. A few corners doesn't mean it can't break up. Again, you just don't know what's going to unfold in the swim. Everyone's coming in at a different level, having not raced. So there could be an opportunity for little gaps to form. You don't know. But yeah, I mean, there is a very high likelihood that we all enter transition. It becomes a pretty mad 5K run.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, for me, that's kind of, I guess, exciting to be racing. I don't know, to race in that way. It'd be very different from perhaps usual. So yeah, you know.
Are you going to be debuting any new kit? Can you give us some insight? You can geek out for a bit about the bike if you like.
Okay, yeah. Well, Specialized recently released a new Tarmac SL7, which is an incredible bike, combined with the new Roval wheels, the Rapide wheels. It's a pretty amazing combination, which I've been training on the last few weeks.
Right.
And I'm thrilled about it. So it's going to be great for the Hamburg course.
Excellent.
So I'm very excited. I can, bring in confidence with that. And then with Asics, I have one of their brand new race flats, which I will get to wear, which is great because my injuries are all behind me and I'm finally in a place that I can, race in a really aggressive racing shoe. So that's super exciting.
Yeah. Does it take a little getting used to, like when they kind of go, right, we've got this new shoe for you? I mean, presumably some you just don't get along with. Others you're like, yeah, okay, this is really good.
Yeah, I guess so. But luckily this shoe, I put it on and I was like, yes, this is a good shoe. I love it. So, well, thankfully I'm not in the position of like, don't know about this shoe. But no, it's a fantastic shoe. So really looking forward to wearing it and super glad I can, because I think it will, definitely be needed to be in the fastest shoe you can be on that day in Hamburg on that course.
Definitely. Well, really appreciate you taking the time. I know you've got things you need to be doing, so very best of luck on Saturday. And obviously, we can't wait to watch and see how it all plays out.
Yeah, thank you. Really look forward to racing, and just so grateful the ITU managed to pull off a race. That's great.
Excellent. Thanks to Flora Duffy for taking time out of her preparations for this weekend's race to speak to us. Don't forget to tune in to triathlonlive.tv on Saturday to watch all the action from Hamburg and what is set to be two incredible sprint distance races to crown the 2020 World Champions. The men go out at 4 p.m. local time and the women at 6 p.m. Then it's the turn for the Mixed Relay World Championships on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Thanks for listening.